Bookie Beatdown coming at you. Paul and Cody breaking down Noche UFC from San Antonio. Why aren't we in Mexico? I know it's like route. I mean, Texas is a border state, but
San Antonio pretty much is Mexico, Paul.
Is it? You're the geography expert around here. I feel like San Antonio is not even like, how close is San Antonio even to the border?
Well, I mean, considering the last Noche card was in Las Vegas, I feel like they're doing better by being in San Antonio. A little bit closer, a little more of a vibe. But yeah, I'm not sure why they choose. Listen, they like to go to Mexico. They've had plenty of events in Mexico. They've got this UFC Noche signature brand event. Why would you not have it in Mexico? In fact, the last one was UFC Noche from the Sphere in Las Vegas. Presented by the Riyadh Group in Saudi Arabia. It's like, this thing is not Noche at all, but all the same, fake Mexican food is still pretty goddamn good. And so, fake Mexican card, I'll take it. I like it.
Riyadh season or something it was called, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing just...
that was just a cool event. The Sphere was brand new. It was relatively new. So that was just like cool. I understood that more than like San Antonio. I mean, how is San Antonio to Laredo? Because Laredo is a border town. We're learning things. People are like, just get to the picks, man. The time codes are in the description. I got to know this now. San Antonio to Laredo is about 2.5 hours to the Mexican border. Okay.
Yeah, that's not so
Close
bad.
Enough.
But again, you got this UFC Noche card, and you're like, okay, let's hit them with a sick main event. And this is a sick main event. You got Diego Lopes versus Gene Silva. Well, so Diego Lopes is actually Brazilian. Okay, all right. And then Rob Font versus David Martinez. That's one Mexican. Rafa Garcia is Mexican, but he lives in Colorado versus Jared Gordon. Kelvin Gastelum is Mexican-American, taking on a German guy. Alexander Hernandez is not Mexican at all, but his last name is Hernandez. So he's going to fight a Brazilian guy. Dusko Todorovic versus José Medina. I don't know that this really screams Noche. It's a lot more South American. Like Claudio Puelles is at least from Peru. Tatiana Suarez has some South American background. But I see a lot of violence on the card. It's 14 fights. There's lots to pick and choose from. And I was hounding this point earlier in the week, which is like this weekend is more loaded than any weekend you've ever seen. There's an Octagon MMA. There's an LFA. There's a BKFC. If you're a Canadian fan, there's a Samurai MMA. There's an EFC Africa. There's UAE Warriors. Like, it's just absolutely...
There's an ACA on Sunday.
Yeah, just absolute spoiled in terms of fights going on. So this is a 14-fight card, but it's not as if you have to overexpose yourself to every single one. Of course, the guys that are Patreon members that are over on the Discord, last week wasn't like it was a home run, but we never missed a top ticket. We hit top tickets on LFA Brazil. We hit top tickets on the BFL card. You know, we did top 2 tickets on... ACA called Dash had top 3. Voki had top 3 on the one championship. We hit top 3 on the nighttime one championship. So sometimes it's about those small wins across the board. Just try not to get nuked on the top line as much as you can. But of course, the UFC last week was much of the same, was able to hit the top 2 lines in Paris. And, you know, you move on from that. So this is much of the same. I look at the matchmaking on this card and I can see it's competitive. The fights are competitive. A lot of the guys on the UFC Noche last time around, they might have been mid-level Mexicans like Ronaldo Rodriguez, and all of a sudden they have huge performances. They do feed off the crowd. They do feed off the energy. And so it might be difficult from a betting standpoint to figure out who can we exact trust. But because there's so many other fights going down this weekend, we should be able to tailor-make an awesome card and just take the top 2 guys from 4 different promotions and make something nice and profitable. So 14 fights to go on this one. We might as well jump into it, Paul.
Sounds easy. Sounds like free money, Cody.
Let's do it.
Should be just free, right? It's just super, super easy.
Nothing in life ever is, but we got to earn it the hard way.
Nothing's ever free. Nothing's ever 100% for sure. It's gambling for a reason. All right. Main event, we got John Silva taking on Diego Lopes. The Lord is minus 210 favorite at the current time of recording. I think people kind of watched the fighting nerds take a couple L's on the weekend, and there has been quite a bit of action coming in on Diego Lopes. Quite a bit since the weekend. Where are you at with the main event code?
Yeah, I'm not faulting the fighting nerds at all. It's like maybe if anything, Barahau fought way too patient, and Mauricio Ruffy fought way too patient as well. He thought he was Anderson Silva. He kept backing himself up to the cage, squaring his back with it, waiting for like one big flying knee or one big uppercut, and so he got outworked. Barahau, Sean Strickland has a really interesting point on that one, is that he made weight 3-4 weeks ago as a backup replacement opponent for Chimaev versus Dricus, and then has to remake weight. It's possible that it drained him because he didn't throw anything. Silva, in many ways, Gene Silva, John, I like calling him Gene because then you can call him Mean Gene, which he very much is. But I think it's just John spelled like that. John Silva's the real deal, man. Yeah, he's a little bit patient at times too, but he's got just this nuclear power. Taking him down is difficult. He's strong. He's physical. And whereas these other guys make these momentarily lapse in judgment, this guy's autistic. He's got a wild story. If you've ever read anything about him and his mom and the things that he's witnessed, and his mom killing people, and he kind of gets into this zone where I don't think you're going to flank him. He used to do the touch glove a lot, and he wants to be buddy with you in there, but he's a violent, dangerous man that really just seems to rack up damage over the course of 5 rounds. In his last number of fights, I think you see him coming into his own. Charles Jourdain, he's not a ranked contender, but he's serviceable. Drew Dober's not ranked anymore, but he's serviceable. Melsek Bagdasarian, Bryce Mitchell his last time out. It's like Bryce was at least a wrestler. Bryce, at least on paper, had the ability to maybe score takedowns and grind this guy out. He's done it to better grapplers than this. Him hitting a fire hydrant constantly. Silva's ability to just switch to the ninja choke time and time again, which would cause him to bail on these takedowns. Now you have to stand with him. Bryce, at the time of the stoppage, is outlanding him 36-27. It's just like I mentioned with Ruffy and Barahau. They're prone to getting outworked unless the big moment materializes. So Lopes, in that regard, might be able to outwork him. He's long, he's lengthy, he's got some speed. Maybe he's just able to hit Silva more times than he gets hit. But this is a 5-round fight. There's a lot of time to operate. And with Diego Lopez's inability to get this fight to the ground, he's going to be forced to just stand and exchange. You know me better than anybody, Paul. I've shit on Diego Lopes forever, and I've had to eat crow on most of these occasions. But Gavin Tucker's not exactly a world beater, right? He doesn't have great durability. Pat Sabatini doesn't have a great chin. Sodiq Yusuff doesn't have a great chin. Dan Ige took the fight quite literally on hours' notice, up a weight class. They're both kind of up a weight class, but you know what I'm saying? Literally just walked into this fight and gave him everything he could handle. Brian Ortega, we know Ortega's limitations these days, especially at 145. Got sick and pulled out. They rebook it, fights him like a shell of himself, and still goes not competitive. He got 30-27, but still went to 15 minutes with him. What I'm saying is that I've been wanting to fade this guy for a long time, and when he finally ran into Alexander Volkanovski, here's finally that mix of a durable guy with stout takedown defense that'll be able to just stuff the shots, keep it standing, and beat him up. There's no doubt Diego Lopes is wily on the ground. There's no doubt he's got an excellent submission game. If you can sprawl and brawl this man, that's the key to victory. Volkanovski's able to lay out that plan. I think Silva just follows the exact same thing. If Lopes is forced to stand with him, yeah, maybe he'll be popping off those jabs. Maybe he'll be trying to be rangy. Maybe he'll try to keep him off of him. But at some point, Silva's just going to dog him. He's going to enter the pocket. He's going to hit him, and he's going to hurt him. Lopes, yeah, he's living in Mexico, but the guy's not Mexican and therefore doesn't have that legendary Mexican durability. He is durable. He's taken a bunch of good shots, but keep in mind, this is someone that can be put away. He has been TKO'd once in his career previously. 25 minutes of Silva just seems like a crazy task. So I'm actually all over him this week. I mean, he's going to be a top ticket guy for me. I think he wins this fight. I think it's his coming out party. I think he looks really good. I think he goes on to challenge just because the fighting nerds lost 2 fights over the weekend, high profile bouts versus high profile opponents, doesn't change a narrative for me. I got to stick with the better guy. And for Lopes, I don't mean to shit on him. He's obviously proving his worth now, fighting the best guys in the world. He dropped Alexander Volkanovski. His striking has come a long way. He's got natural power. He's long. He's big for the division. He's got a nasty grappling game. He matches up really good with a lot of the guys in the division. I personally don't believe he matches up well with John Silva at all. So, yeah, I think you're going to see that on Saturday night. Silva makes it look easy. Top ticket guy for me. Would I hedge if I got to that point? If everything else is intact, you'd be stupid not to. And it's good plus money on Lopes. Why not pull that trigger? But pre-fight recording, yeah, I think Silva dogs him pretty good here.
Yeah. I was like, when I was looking at it, like last week and stuff, I saw it like minus 300. I'm like, I don't know if I can really get to Jean at that price. The action midweek here on Diego Lopes makes John Silva a little bit more appetizing. I do think he wins. 7 out of 10. maybe 8 out of 10 times between the two of them. There are some question marks. Like maybe Diego Lopes gets his fight to the mat. He has shown submission skills, submission ability. I mean, he could stand on the feet and exchange with him, but there's going to be a big disparity in terms of who's throwing the absolute hammers back. Like nobody's really outpowering Jean Silva. But yeah, minus 205 and continuing to fall, to be perfectly honest, is definitely getting more. If they're setting up a trap for me, well, I'll be your Huckleberry. What's that?
I said I used to have a little theory on John Silva where I was like, his source of power is the goddamn fist bumps, because every fight he's always fist bump me, bro, and then they fist bump him and then he nukes them. It's like, when will they learn? Stop eating the bait. Then Bryce Mitchell goes out there and John Silva says, fist bump, and he shakes his head and says no. Well, John Silva loses it. He starts barking like a dog, and then he proceeds to beat the crap out of Bryce Mitchell. Dude, you are damned if you do, damned if you don't.
100%.
I like this guy. He's really proven to just be one of them dangerous John Lineker type guys. He's going to stuff the takedown. He's going to throw bombs at you. Hard to deal with. And tall man defense is not the way.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a pretty big step up in competition, of course. Like Diego Lopes was fighting for the title, everything like that. I just think John's ready for it. John's ready for that next step right now. If he gets through this, I mean, I feel like the UFC's kind of salivating at the mouth to try to set him up against Volk. Get the belt back in Brazil. And Volk has been, that chin has been compromised. Could be a kind of and new situation. But he's got to get by this fight first. All right, moving on down. We got Rob Font taking on David Martinez. Rob Font, a minus 133 favorite. The comeback on Martinez plus 113. Who you got?
Yeah, I do have Rob Font. I don't think this is going to be an easy fight. I think David Martinez is a really good kickboxer, excellent striking skills all around. I really do like David Martinez. I think he brings a lot to the table and that he'll be competitive in this fight. But the original fight is David Martinez versus Carlos Vera. Carlos Vera is 38 years old. He's a 10th Planet BJJ black belt guy, a little bit old-timey, likes his jiu-jitsu. That's a nice winnable fight for Martinez. Him pulling out and being replaced by Rob Font, who's a perennial top 15 guy who's fought all the top guys in the game, it's just, to me, it's a little too much too soon. Now, we all know about Melissa Martinez, David's sister. She's no good. So that's the bad sibling, and David's the good one. But even then, his fight on the Contender Series versus Xavier Franklin. Xavier Franklin's 5'6" with a 66-inch reach. He's a short guy. Martinez himself is not very big. He's 5'5" with a 67-inch reach. His fight was Simon Oliveira. Simon's tall-ish. And so you see this guy's good kickboxing, but he's shot in no takedowns so far. He's not in look to grappling. He's like a 6-time Mexican long pant karate champion, long pant kickboxing champ. His sister was a long pant kickboxing champ. Striking is definitely his element. I don't think he's shooting a whole lot of takedowns. So you go from fighting Xavier Franklin, which was a competitive enough fight, to blasting Simon Oliveira. It's logical to fight Carlos Vera next. It's not logical to fight Rob Font. Rob Font, again, what's the key to being Rob Font? Take him down is the key to beating Rob Font. And it's a big hole in his game. But David Martinez is really not the guy that's going to suddenly go from exclusively kickboxing, not shooting takedowns, to all of a sudden he's going to be taking down Rob Font with consistency. And the guys that have been taking down Rob Font are John Matsumoto and Kyler Phillips and Davidson Figueiredo and Corey Sandhagen. You are nowhere near that. So let's just say it's going to be striker versus striker. Well, Font thrives in these situations. He's got a nasty jab. He's a lot more experienced. He's got way more fights. And again, he's a really high volume guy. He averages just under 6 significant strikes landed per minute. He's gotten around that. Him versus Marlon Vera, he landed 271 significant strikes over 5 rounds. Him versus Jose Aldo, he was outstriking Jose Aldo 149 to 86. Him versus Cody Garbrandt, he outstruck Cody Garbrandt 176 to 63. So Martinez, sure, he's got good kickboxing, but is he going to knock out Rob Font? It'd be a hell of a task. And if you don't plan on taking him down, you're going to get prone to just getting outworked. I have nothing against him. At 27, he's not too young of a prospect. I just mean he's not experienced the top 15. He's not experienced these drag him out really close style fights. He's had one fight on the Contender Series, one fight in the UFC, and now he's taking on, a gatekeeper to the stars, so to speak. So I just think it's a little too much too soon. And the line's not outrageously in Rob Font's favor. No, it's pretty close. I think Martinez will show up.
Actions come in on all the actions came in. And when I first looked at it, and I was looking at it like, the other day, like on the weekend or whatever, I was like, maybe I'll get, like, I had to watch tape and stuff, but I was looking at it and I was like, oh, Martinez plus 180. I could see myself getting to it. And obviously somebody out there with a lot of clout and following, or a lot of people are backing, or the market just absolutely loves Martinez. Now it's getting down close to a pick 'em. I echo a lot of the same sentiments as you, that it's like, okay, well, now that we're getting closer to a pick 'em, if this is a 50-50 fight, give me the experience, give me the guy who, even if he does get taken, he got taken down 7 times by John Matsumoto, and he still won that fight. Why? Because he's able to get back up, and then he out volumes you huge on the feet while he's there. He makes it count when he's not on his back. So if you remove that from the equation, I like David Martinez as a prospect, but I'm with you. I like Rob Font in this spot.
Yeah, who's a better prospect, John Matsumoto or David Martinez? Well, they're different types of prospects, but I mean, yeah, Matsumoto is like 17-1 right now. His only loss is Rob Font. This was a guy that was a 3-1 betting favorite over Rob Font. He was supposed to go out there and roll him up, but Font's training at TriStar now. He's in really good shape, and they're putting together these smart game plans that revolve around using this educated jab, using that superior volume, using your footwork. He's getting a little bit older, but he's not showing any regression in his speed. He can't bust a grape. I'll admit that. His powers. He went 25 minutes at Cody Garbrandt, hit him 163 times, and couldn't put him down. Tells you everything you need to know. But yeah, I have seen a few times, say the Jose Aldo fight, he's winning by the numbers, but then the bigger shots are coming from Jose Aldo. He's getting knocked down. Jose Aldo wins. But Martinez is not exactly Jose Aldo right now in time. And so, yeah, like you said, it comes to a numbers game. If it's 2-1 Rob Font, yeah, he's on short notice. He's a little bit older. It's a Noche card. The crowd's going to be behind Martinez. UFC obviously has faith in Martinez to give him this big of a fight. And then you see it at even money. It's like, nah, I got experience. The UFC is not doing him a favor. They were with the Carlos Vera fight all day. This is a completely polar opposite matchup versus a guy that's been in there with the top guys and has been ranked, and Vera is not at all. So, yeah, we're on the same page, brother.
David Martinez would have been top ticket against Carlos Vera.
Yeah, for sure. Avoid those leg locks and punch him in the face. This thing's over.
That's what you wanted from who's the guy?
Oh my God! Yeah, no, I know. Well, that's the thing about MMA. It happens, and guys pull the big move out of their ass.
I mean, I bet Vero by sub in that fight at like 15-1 or something silly.
Well, yeah, but you had him by submission as well. It's like, how's he going to win this fight if he subs as Josiah Musasa, who's maybe not a bad prospect, but this Musasa kid is just too young and he's green. And I know I'm not giving you a preview, but we're going to talk about all these fights. But this kid on the card, he's on the main card, I'm pretty sure. Santiago Luna. It's like, bro, he's 21 years old with 6 fights. Like, what do you think? He's fighting a 33-year-old man.
Yeah, it sounds like we're going to be on the same page on that fight.
Yeah,
we'll you bring that one up. He could totally win, but we're asking a lot. Asking a lot from these kids.
I know.
They haven't had to really prove it, on the regional level yet. But we'll go to some olds. First, we got Jared Gordon taking on Rafa Garcia. I made sure to say Rafa because he's not Brazilian.
That's true.
Right? Brazilians ruin it with like all these, the silent R stuff. But yeah, Rafa Garcia. I ended up messing it up by saying his last name wrong. Minus 240 for Jared. The comeback on Garcia plus 205. Who you got?
Yeah, I feel like Jared Gordon at some point is going to start slowing down, but he's just got this ability to come forward and grind you in the pocket and then just, really try to put pace on you, take you down, get it done the old-fashioned way. I feel like it probably should work on Rafa Garcia. When I watch Garcia, I don't love his overall game. It's like he's more well-rounded than anything. He's not an elite striker. He's not an elite wrestler. His cardio at times has been good, but at other times he completely evaporates out there. Of course, the hardcores will remember his fight with Chris Grutzmacher back in the day where he blew it. Yeah, but for no other reason than once he starts to slow down, he doesn't have any refined skills. It's mostly, I can put a pace on you. So once that starts to go, it's a little bit off. Now, if he's at his best, this will be like the Clay Guida fight, right? Stuff the takedowns, keep it standing, use the volume, your cardio checks out, everything's good. But that last fight against Vince Pichel, who I know he won, And Vince very much gave him that old man type of stuff more takedowns than not and outwork him, beat him at his own game. Garcia's, again, his striking is mostly an overhand right, a short jab to a 1-2, a 1, a 1-2, a 1, 1-2. It's very one and done, maybe two at a time. I feel like Jared Gordon's prone to outworking him. And whereas Vince Pichel is also a little bit older, his takedown defense is good, but not great. I do feel like Jared Gordon's takedown defense and grappling is overall just a little bit better than Pichel's. A little bit younger, he's a little bit more, just willing to get into these extended exchanges and grind this guy down. So his last fight with Thiago Moises, I didn't expect him to get the knockout, but I thought he'd be able to stuff Moises' limited wrestling, keep the fight standing, and beat him standing. The knockout just happened to come. This fight's much of the same, is that you're going to have to stuff Rafa Garcia's shots and then just push this pace on him. Yeah, Garcia's going to be feeding from the live crowd. Yeah, Garcia may be in shape. He may be ready to go. This thing kind of plays out in my head closer to a Jared Gordon minus 150, Jared Gordon minus 160. So seeing him as like minus 235, I don't like this money line at all. I really don't. But it doesn't change that I think he wins more often than not and that he is my pick. I think he just outlasts him, puts up more volume, stuffs a few takedowns, maybe mixes in a few of his own, but ultimately gets the decision in the end.
Yeah, no, the people who've had the most success against Jared Gordon, historically, people with a little bit of power, a massive submission advantage. I don't really see too much of that from the Garcia side whatsoever here. So yeah, Jared, classic kind of performance. I think he can stuff any sort of takedowns that are probably coming back his way here. He may even have the offensive wrestling edge. It's tough to really say pre-flop how that'll shake out. But if it just shakes out on the feet, we've got a guy in Gordon who puts up, 140, 150, 200 significant strikes. That's like the ceiling. But probably a close fight. Probably not a line that I'm, with so much MMA, as you mentioned off the top of the show going on this week, not a fight that I'm going to get like overexposed to this week, but Jordan will be the pick, or Gordon will be the pick for me as well. We got Kelvin Gastelum taking on Dustin Stoltzfus. Kelvin, a minus 260 favorite to come back on Dustin, plus 220. Who got?
I got Kelvin, and it seems too obvious, and therefore this feels like a trap. Minus 260 is not a good price tag, first of all, but it feels way too obvious. I got Kelvin Gastelum, a guy that's challenged for a UFC title, a guy that's fought all the best guys, way too much experience, and Dustin Stoltzfus is, just not even a mid-rank guy. He'd be a lower mid-rank guy who, well, he's a BJJ black belt. He's a Planet Eater guy from Germany. He's efficient, originally from Pennsylvania. He wrestled a little bit in high school, but how does his wrestling match up with Kelvin Gastelum? Edge towards Kelvin Gastelum. Well, if I can't take him down, then how am I going to use this BJJ black belt of mine? Yeah, you're probably not going to. Well, what about us standing? Kelvin Gastelum's a much better striker. He puts a lot more pace. He's got a lot more volume. He's got a hell of a chin on him. I think Gastelum probably outworks him. Fair, but Gastelum's slowing down, man. He's slowing down real bad. He's got lost at 185, tried to come back to 170, botched the weight cut again, has now come back up to 185. But more concerning is like Pyfer knocked him down twice and just reduced him to not throwing any punches. He just didn't really want to get hit anymore. Some of these other fights, it's like they're a lot closer than they need to be. Chris Curtis, take that headbutt off the table. Chris Curtis probably wins that fight. Sean Brady takes him down and just dominates him. Daniel Rodriguez, yes, that was supposed to be at 170. Gastelum came in at 180. But D-Rod gave him a hell of a go. I'm not saying Gastelum's all the way washed, but what made him good was his chin. Now his chin might not be cast iron. And while he used to have this junior college wrestling background, he was an Arizona State champ in high school and wrestled very briefly in college and then went to MMA. But when he gets blown out of there, it's the Sean Brady 5 takedowns. It's the Robert Whitaker 4 takedowns. You can go back to that Chris Weidman fight where Weidman takes him down a couple times and then just easily subs him. So my worry here with Stoltzfus is that Stoltzfus is an actual middleweight. So he's a lot bigger. They're always going to be bigger than Kelvin, but Kelvin made up for it with I'm gritty and I'm tough and I'm willing to go through the fire. But as he gets older and he just more compounded damage, he's got injuries. There's a reluctancy to engage. There's a reluctancy to go forward. He's still the smaller guy. He's getting older. Therefore, he's getting slower. He's not the biggest puncher in the division. He was at one time, but you got to keep in mind his knockout wins were Tim Kennedy, Nate Marquardt, Michael Bisping. It was all older guys in their late 30s that had high profiles. Since he's been fighting legit contenders, what's his last knockout win? Michael Bisping, 8 years ago. 8 years ago was the last time he's knocked out a guy. So his fights are usually going to go to decision. Stoltzfus might be able to take him down. Now that more that you think about it, he may be able to take him down. And if he does take him down, he's going to rack up long periods of control time. The fight's standing. Gastelum in his heyday would definitely be marching forward and throwing shots, backing this guy up and outworking him. And that still may be the case, but you feel less good about it. Still going to take
Stoltzfus has shown
Kelvin.
some sorts of power, like the Marc-Andre Barrios fight, where it's it wasn't going great, but then he landed an absolute nuke. Like he's got some pop.
So you're absolutely right about that. He drops he KOs Barrio. He's stiff before he hits the ground. But if people will remember when he fought Puelles Soriano, at 185, it was a mystical creature welterweight Soriano, but he stiffed him with a good right hand too. Dropped him, ended up taking his back and rear naked choked him. So he can crack, he can wrestle. He's got a BJJ black belt. He seems to be good size for the division. And that last fight with Ruzaboev, it's like he looked like dog shit. But there was a lot of people saying online they thought he won. Ruzaboev also looked awful, and Ruzaboev's 6'5". He still took him down twice. He had 2 submission attempts. That's all good stuff. If he could take down Kelvin, get a submission attempt, grind him up against the cage, land a good shot here and there, it's gonna look a lot closer than minus 280. So because it's Noche and it's Gastelum and he's Mexican American and he's a fan favorite and he's been at the highest level of the sport, you want to just, he's going to walk right through this nobody gatekeeper type guy in Dustin Stoltzfus. But man, buyer beware. Even in Stoltzfus's losses, he got choked out by Rodolfo Vieira in the third, and he got choked out by Jeremy Mearshard in the third. And if you watch back both of those fights, he's winning at the time of the stoppage. So like, he's not as bad as you can make him look. He's not as bad as he is on paper. Gastelum's worse than he looks on paper. They're going to meet in the middle of the road at some point, and it could be Saturday. But yeah, I'm just so stupid, man. It's like I am going to just stick with Kelvin Gastelum because of the same generic reasons everyone else has. Well, he is more experienced, and he does have more volume. And on paper, he's a better striker. And on paper, he's a better wrestler. And on paper, he's not a better grappler. But the wrestling should be enough to negate the grappling, and therefore it's a striking match and blah, 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 blah. What I noticed in the Pyfer fight is Pyfer's big, but he has power, but he's big. Kelvin was having trouble stepping in and getting inside on the inside. Kelvin 2-3 years back, that's all he did was crash the puck. He damn near beat Israel Adesanya. It's 2-2 going into the fifth because of his ability to crash the puck, and he landed a head kick. You don't see any of that from him as much as you used to. And that's father time. And I just don't want to get burnt on a Kelvin Gastelum on my top ticket at minus 280, rubbing my hands together. This is easy. Why don't we go John Silva and Kelvin Gastelum at the top and call it a day? I think that's trappy. John Silva, yeah, he's good to go. Gastelum, I think, is going to blow it for me. So I am going to play him, but he's going to be lower. I got to figure out something better to do with him.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to do with Kelvin at this stage in his career, but I don't want to be caught holding the bag either. I echo pretty much all the same sentiments that you do. Like, I mean, on paper or, historically, when you think about it, is like if Kelvin, but we have seen Kelvin go out there against a middleweight, like the fight the real turning point for me with Kelvin was this. It was quite a turning point. It was quite a long time ago. It was that Hermanson fight, man, where it was just like Kelvin, high school wrestler, should be able to keep this on the feet. And Jack goes out there and doesn't even get a takedown, but was able to get like the heel hook pretty much immediately at the start of that fight. And you're like, okay, when he's going up against guys that are like actual middleweights, a little bit more physical, in those types of exchanges, it can be a bit of a problem for him. He has fought the top tier guys in the division, don't get me wrong, but I don't think that the reason why he fights at 170, it's the same thing as always. It's like, at 185, it's the same thing as always. It's that like love him or hate him. It's like he hasn't taken it. He hasn't taken his career as seriously as he should have, right? Like that's pretty well known around the industry.
You're not wrong.
Kelvin is 100% a welterweight. Like
this is true.
Like he's always a welterweight. His frame, everything about him. He's 5'9". He's got wide shoulders and stuff. I'm sure it's not an easy cut by any stretch of the imagination, but like there's lightweights with like probably pretty similar body body shapes and everything like that. Like even when he went down to welterweight, it's not like he looked like bone thin or anything. I don't think a guy like Gastelum ever gets bone thin, but
he never actually gets to welterweight. Oh, I guess he did against Sean Brady, but he normally shows up like 180, and it's like,
true.
dude, what the hell?
Yeah.
But Paul
He's
made an excellent
point.
point, is that Hermansson heel hooked him. He like somewhat grazed Hermansson. Hermansson went down, and he got all antsy, jumped on him, heel hooked immediately. Chris Weidman took him down 7 times, caught him with an arm triangle. His fight with Sean Brady took him down 4 times and caught him with a Kimura. There's no doubt about it. If he gives up his back or he gets up in a bad spot, he can be submitted. And if his durability in his chin is starting to, leave ever so slightly, he can get knocked out. And again, I am still keeping the pick. It's not enough for me to change it, but it might not be this fight. Might not be the next fight. He's going to lose to a non-ranked contender, and then you're not going to see it coming, and it's going to happen in the next 3 fights. And I got to make sure, as Paul said, I don't want to be holding the bag. I know this potato's starting to get hot. I can feel it. Okay. I got to pass it at some point. Maybe I'll hold it on Saturday, but the end is coming.
If I was forced to make a bet on the fight, it'd be Stoltzfus sub. I just saw like a plus 1100 on that. That's how I would play this, but no real conviction whatsoever. I do think Kelvin wins, and I think for all the same reasons that you did. I just don't know if I don't want Kelvin. I don't want us to have this discussion, me to put a whole bunch of money on Kelvin, and then for him to do something real stupid, get caught in a submission, or even just lose a decision where he just gets kind of outmuscled. And me, licking my wounds, thinking about myself, forewarning myself about this. Not going to let it happen to me. But yeah, I mean, I guess if for the purposes of the show, the pick is Kelvin Gastelum. What do I think the best bet would be? Be just a small little poke on Stoltzfus sub. Moving on down, we've got Santiago Luna taking on Quang Lee. Santiago Luna, minus 130 favorite to come back on Lee, plus 110. You alluded to this fight earlier on. I was watching tape on this kid, figuring out who he was, earlier on today. And like, he looks good. He looks like somebody who could really be a half decent prospect in a few years, but that's in a few years. He's only 20 years old. And, I saw some spots, in this Badua fight where it's like, maybe you can exploit his grappling early in the exchanges. His Manabot guy is like 4-6.
Yeah.
So he's been fighting lower, like he just hasn't had like too many wins that I would classify as like UFC ready. It's weird that he's put into this spot outside of it being Noche UFC. That's like this. It would have made more sense for him to go through the Contender Series route to end up in this situation. You watch Quang Lee, and it's just like, well, he's showing a lot of different things. One, he won round 2 against Chris Gutierrez on all 3 judges' scorecards. Against Gaston Bolanos, it cost both of us money because we really underestimated the grappling ability that Quang Lee brought to the table. Sometimes we say it for like the people who have like those props and stuff. Quang Lee takedown props could be like those sneaky props this week. I expect him to kind of come out and wrestle here. I like Quang Lee on the money line. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I mean, again, it feels almost trappy. On one hand, it's like, well, this Mexican prospect on the Noche card, and they put him on the main card, and he's 21, and he's undefeated, and he's going to be some hotly touted prospect. But it's the same thing, and you watch tape on him. It's not that he's bad. It's that he's like super green, and we've kind of seen this happen the last number of Contender Series cards, or even in the UFC. It's like this guy is a really good looking prospect. This David Moyen kid, right? 21 years old, out of American Top Team. This kid looks good. Yeah, he does, but he doesn't really have any extensive experience. He's not had to fight. He went to the decision one time. He's outside of that. He had never been outside of the first round all that much. So it just takes development. And this kid, I think he also needs development. Quang Lee, as you mentioned, he's a guy that, has always gone and done a sturdy performance for himself. He beat Cody Pedersen on the regional scene back in the day. He took a round off Chris Gutierrez, as Paul mentioned. He's done all that good stuff. That Long Zhao fight, he was competitive enough with Long Zhao, someone that, even though he got robbed in his last fight on UFC Shanghai, someone that I think does have legitimate skills. And then against Gaston Bolanos has been working a lot on his grappling. He used his grappling to beat Corvelius Romeus in the fight before that. Quang Lee buzzsawed right through him. He did a lot of damage on the ground and then was eventually able to open up the submission. So Got a performance bonus for that. I thought he looked really good. He is 33 years old, but training out of Minnesota with a good team at the academy. I feel like he's going to have a wrestling advantage. He's going to have a grappling advantage. His chin should be good enough to take some of these shots. You're taking on a 21-year-old kid. You got to imagine this kid's got the cardio advantage, but he's not had to fight late into fights all that often. Also, his last fight, as Paul mentioned, he fights a 4-6 guy and Tough Enough at 145. The fight before that, his career best win, he fights at 140. He's made 135 before. It's not going to be an issue. But now you got to cut another 10 pounds. And it's not because the line's pretty well even. It's close to even. I feel like Quang Lee's experience, Quang Lee's quality of work are just a little too much too soon for this kid, who will be good. But yeah, it's weird. I'm pretty sure Quang Lee's born in Minnesota, yet he reps Vietnam. And then this Santiago Luna, he's actually born in San Diego, but he reps Mexico. I don't know. Don't know what to tell you. Apparently where you're born is not where you're from. I don't know.
Something happened to your microphone.
Yeah, no, that was my bad.
What'd you do?
It was just an ad. I have Tapology open and start playing this random ad, and then the audio must have start coming out of the microphone. Does it sound better now, obviously?
No, you sound great.
Yeah, just a weird term of events. Yeah, anyways, I just Quang Lee, probably with the wrestling, gets him to the ground, and then at that point, it's hard to say how good is Luna's grappling. He has submission wins just over really lower level guys, and he's the hammer in a lot of these fights that you can watch. How does he going to deal with being the nail? So I got my reservation still, and it's just enough for me to ever so slightly edge it towards Quang Lee.
All right, we got everyone's favorite Mexican, Alexander Hernandez, taking on Carlos Diego Ferreira. It's basically a straight pick 'em, homie. Who you got?
I got Carlos Diego Ferreira, actually. So with Hernandez, I mean, I can appreciate it's a quick turnaround. He just got a win over Chase Hooper, cost me a bunch of money. And then he's in good shape, so why not jump back into this spot? Obviously, at 155 pounds, he's not making this crazy weight cut. He's in better shape, a little more filled out. I just feel like he's gonna run into one of these brick wall of a guys, right? When I go back to that let's say his fight with Austin Hubbard and his fight with Kurt Holoba. Hubbard is a generalist, he's just tough and he can wrestle a little bit and he can grapple a little bit and he can strike a little bit, but he doesn't have big power. He doesn't have a big refined submission game. He's not, the highest ranked guy, and yet he holds Hernandez to a competitive split decision where he has plenty of moments. His fight with Kurt Holoba is likely winning this fight. It's 1-1 going into the third. Holoba is beating him up standing, and then boom, in the third round, Hernandez starts shooting takedowns, is able to ground Holoba, grind this thing out, edge this thing out. He looks awful in both fights. So I bet Chase Hooper thinking, hey, man, you can see Hernandez is not looking good, and Chase Hooper is on a roll, but here's the difference. Holoba's like a thick, older man, right? And Austin Hubbard is a big, good size for the division man. Chase Hooper's still a boy, and so Hernandez, was able to just use his superior strength and his big power, and he's getting outworked by Chase Hooper. He's getting outlanded by Chase Hooper 20-17 or 20-14, and then the big shot drops him, couple ground and pound shots put him away. But he's getting outworked in that fight, and then there's 2 seconds left in the round. There's 4 or 5 seconds left in the round when he drops him, and then he gets the stoppage. That to me doesn't scream, I'm back. 3-fight winning streak looks good. But arguably 2 of those, you did not look good against Hubbard. You did not look good against Kurt Holoba. You were looking okay against Hooper, and then a big knockout made it look spectacular. But I do think he's still there to get it work. The thing with Carlos Diego Ferreira is his takedown defense is actually pretty good. I don't think Hernandez is taking him down. If for whatever reason Hernandez does take him down, this guy's got really good ground game. 3rd degree BJJ black belt, great with his scrambles. His cardio, because he's also getting a little bit older, it's not great, but Hernandez hasn't proven to have a super deep gas tank himself. The difference is that Carlos Diego Ferreira's got really nice technical boxing. He's got legitimate power. You see some of these knockout wins. He knocked out Michael Johnson. He knocked out Matus Rebecki. He knocked out Kyle Nelson. He's knocked out Jared Gordon. Those guys aren't easy outs. This guy cracks. And the thing is, because he's so confident in his ground game, he just throws absolute fastballs. Like, overhand rights, big punches. His technical boxing is not bad, but when he wings his punches, he can generate a lot of power. His kryptonite is guys that are really good grapplers. Grant Dawson, excellent wrestling, high-level grappling. Matus Gamrot, Gregor Gillespie, Benil Dariush. That's the blueprint on how beating him. Take him down. Benil 5 times. Gregor Gillespie 4 times.
Make him tired and then knock him out.
Yeah, you got to constantly be grinding. Even the Matus Gamrot, it says it's a knee, but it's like he hurt his rib up against the cage and then a knee. Like, I don't know. It's kind of an injury more than anything.
Got to wear him down.
You got to wear him down, right? And just that real big pace and that real big wrestling, right? When you look at Alexander Hernandez, he is built physically strong. He doesn't really come from that wrestling background. He's a 36% takedown accuracy in the UFC. The guys that he was taking down was Kurt Holleba, but keep in mind when he fought Damon Jackson, I get it, it's at 145, he was probably drained. But Damon Jackson took him down 3 times. Giant red flag. Bill Algeo took him down. Billy Quarantillo took him down. Hanato Moicano took him down twice. To me, I don't. I think that Carlos Diego Ferreira could take him down. I think Carlos Diego Ferreira could just outbox him standing. Hernandez is going to be forced to grind this guy and bring a lunchbox and just go toe-to-toe and really grind. That's not his style. So just feel like CDF probably outworks him. I'm hoping he lands something and knocks him out, or drops him and is able to take his back and grab a submission, or just really put this guy away. But these violent guys that can stand their ground and not give up an inch, they give Hernandez problems. Competent power wrestlers with deep gas tanks give CDF problems. Hernandez is not really that. Carlos Diego Ferreira is capable of mimicking a lot of things that have given Hernandez problems. So for me, it's CDF all day. I got him picked. He's a little bit older. You can't trust him at the top anymore, but I think this is a good style clash. No disrespect to Hernandez. It's a good style clash that favors Carlos Diego Ferreira, and I'm going to be banking on him.
Yeah, I tend to agree as well. I do worry about CDF's durability a little bit, but it's punchy kicky. These things happen in MMA. But yeah, CDF has submission grappling paths. Like, yeah, if the Alexander, you said it, he's pretty much said everything I could really follow up with is if the guy who showed up against Austin Hubbard and was just like kind of clinging to and was clinging on for dear life in the follow-up fight against Kurt Holleba there. I think he hurt his shoulder. Sorry, that's what he claimed after the fact, that he hurt his shoulder. It's just like clinging on, holding on for dear life. If that guy shows up, I think he's in for a pretty rude awakening, a pretty long night after a nice win over Chase Hooper. But Chase Hooper cost both of us a lot of money. So
God damn.
So
it happens. It's the
props to the Alexander Hernandez truthers and betters and all of that, because they're on a nice little run right now. All right, moving on down, we've got Dusko Todorovic taking on Jose Daniel Medina. Medina's still around. Cody famously picked him last time out against Atiba the GOAT.
It was a good line, but it ended up not.
It was not a good line. No. It was not. I don't even know. Yeah, there was nothing good about fading Atiba the GOAT, but people are learning, and now we're probably never gonna have another good price on Atiba the GOAT until he fights somebody legitimate, and that may be a few more fights. Anyway, I had to dunk on you a little bit there.
Yeah, it's fair.
Dusko minus 350 favorite to come back on Medina plus 285. It's ugly. It's ugly to think about backing Dusko, a guy with like durability issues that we have seen, a guy who is on a 3-fight losing streak. The only wins in the UFC coming against Jordan Wright, Mackie Patolo, Daquan Townsend.
Yeah, they like him, obviously.
Jose Medina's like on those guys' level, though, isn't he? Yeah. Like, I don't think he's got very much. If it's a durability match between the two of these, Jose Medina wins all day long. I don't think Jose Medina throws with any sort of serious ill intent of the people who have knocked out Dusko. I think Dusko's a much better wrestler. I think Dusko throws more volume. It just feels dirty, like, touting or playing Dusko at like a 70%, 75% win clip. But yeah, that's the side for me. I think Jose Medina just really never had any business being in the UFC. He was tough against Gadzi Azulov on Contender Series. He hung in there against what turned out to be an incredibly fraudulent Russian, and Dana was like, I love that guy. And then he kind of proved to everybody that, like, oh yeah, this guy really had no business being here in the first place. Your thoughts?
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's like on one hand, just like you mentioned, Dusko is sleeping with some executive's wife, or he is, and the guy's cucking, you know, like he's into it kind of thing, or he knows where they've buried a bunch of bodies, or he's 3-6 with the organization in 9 fights. He's currently on a 3-fight losing streak. He has looked absolutely abysmal almost every step of the way. And they continue to book him for fights. In fact, they've given him the most winnable fight in the division to try to build him back, to try to get him that win. And then he wins. You think they're going to cut him after they give him the one fight to build him back? No, then there's more fights. Paul mentioned his run. This is true stats. Taquan Townsend was 0-4 in the UFC before he got released. What about Mackey? Mackey was 1-5 before he got released from the UFC. What about Jordan Wright? Well, Jordan Wright's his career best win because he was 2-5 in the UFC before he got released. Altogether, it's 3-14 is the record of his 3 wins in the UFC combined for a 3-14 UFC record. And they're giving him Jose Medina. Like, you can't make this shit up. How is Jose Medina also still in the UFC? Well, here's my theory on that one. He comes on Contender Series, he loses, but he hooks Dana with really good Bolivian cocaine. So then it's like, I want this guy around. Not all the time, I get myself in trouble, but enough that I can party a few times a year. So why would you give a guy that got taken down 6 times on 7 attempts and landed 24 significant strikes over an absolute fraud of a man? Why would you give him a contract? Then against Zach Reese took him down 5 times and beats him fairly handily. And then Atiba, it's like, let's give him a guy that won't wrestle him. The other guys have been wrestling him. Let's give him a guy that's going to strike. And Atiba hit him with really good punches, and this dude just got a hell of a chin, but then he throws a knee up the middle, and like, it doesn't matter how good of a chin you have. A sledgehammer hits a watermelon, it's going splat. And so, yeah, sure enough, he knocks him out. Now he's got this fight. It's the very funny thing to me is that Dusko's biggest hole is his ability to take a punch. And Medina's quite literally the only redeemable quality to him is that he can take a punch. This fight to me goes right back to the grappling. If you look at Dusko, he can wrestle. He's only got a 17% takedown accuracy, but he took down Zach Reese 4 times his last time out. He took down Chidi and Jaquani down twice. His wrestling's actually good enough to take down Medina. Medina, Paul already mentioned, taken down by Magomed Ghaziazulov 6 times on the 7 attempts. But then Zach Reese taking you down 5 times. They both racked up over 6 minutes of control time on him. I feel like he's tough and he should be able to get taken down, and Dusko lands a few strikes and Medina works his way back up, and then Dusko's too fast for him, and then Dusko takes him down again and Medina works his way back up again. And I think it's likely going to decision. It's likely hitting an over 1.5. It's likely hitting an over 2.5. What's the price on that 1.5? Do you have something available?
Over 1.5 is -225.
Yeah, that's a 225. Yeah,
Dusko by decision plus 110.
Well, still not good.
You don't like that?
Well, I don't. I like it in the sense that it's like, well, Medina is, he's really durable. But again, it's like, I don't know. Dusko's job's likely on the line in some sense. When he does win, he did knock out Jordan Wright with some nasty elbows. He did knock out Maki Pitolo with a nice right hand. He did blast Daquan Townsend in the second round. And to Daquan's credit, he went the distance in most of his I guess Dalton knocked him out. These guys don't have terrible durability issues, and he sparked them all early. 1 second round finish and 2 first round finishes. He hit sufficiently hard that Medina's a punching bag, right? And so the problem with these guys that don't defend themselves
that the ref is liable to step in and stop it.
At some point, they're just going to wave it off. Or even 2 weeks ago on the Contender Series, the Canadian kid, I'm talking about Rat Garbage. Mandonello, right? That Brazilian guy, he got a hell of a chin on him, bro. He ate 2 front kicks square in the face and didn't even flinch. But you can't keep taking shots like that. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to get too ahead of myself because you never can catch your, count your chickens before the eggs hatch. But there's a fight on the Tuesday night this week with that Cam Teague. Cam Teague's not a bad fighter. The thing is, he doesn't defend himself. His chin's fine. His chin's pretty good. Kevin Vallejos landed some bombs. Austin Lingo landed some bombs. The thing is, you can't just keep walking into fire. So at some point with Medina, it's like you just got knocked out and now you're going to walk back right into the fire and get hit some more times. And if this guy takes you down, which he probably will, and he mounts you, Dusko's a black belt for the record. If he can't just outright crab a head and arm choke and he can just pass him out and he starts punching and the ref says, improve your position, and you're physically fine, but you're not improving your position, you just get waved off. Plus 110 is just not enough. Dusko by decision plus 175, 160. I'm in, but maybe that's just me being greedy. It's just you got a really low level guy here in Jose Medina, and chances are that he could get walked onto something.
Yeah, it is definitely. That would be my preferred play for that fight. But I see what you're saying. I mean, it's too early in the week to like be hopping all over those types of props and stuff like that because most books haven't even opened up that number. But that's the early one on that fight. That's, I guess, how I would play that fight. I think Dusko, job on the line, play it safe. Just take him down, kind of hang out his guard. You don't have to kill him. You just have to win. Don't you think?
I agree. I just don't know if for Dusko, is it like winning a decision over Jose Medina? I'm still
probably still saves your job.
Wow, I don't know. Now you're 4-6 and you just decision Medina. At least his other 3 wins are knockouts and they were entertaining.
Yeah.
If now you take this, I'm on a 3-fight losing streak. I'm a 3-1 favorite over a guy. You got to Sam Hughes it. Sam Hughes was an underdog in every fight. Now finally she's a 3-1 favorite over a girl. She didn't take the smart pass. She beat the crap out of Shauna Bannon and was like, I need to thank the UFC for giving me a winnable spot and making it look easy. Dusko actually used to have good cardio, but in the last fight with Zach Reese, he completely gassed out. So I am worried if he gasses from taking down Medina and he can't put away Medina, this guy's going to Homer Simpson his ass and work his way back into it. But at that point, he's still down 2 rounds before Dusko tires and he takes over. And I watched Medina for what are his knockout wins. He's not a power puncher at all. He's like, his last knockout win, he ground and pounded an 11-23 Cesar Benitez on the ground. You know, most of it's ground and pound. Last time he knocked out a guy standing is 4 years ago, and the guy's 2-1. Like, he's not some Bolivian, Tasmanian devil that can take a hell of a punch and give one back. We see these Argentinian guys all the time, these Peruvian guys all the time that are like, these guys are junkyard dogs. This guy is just tough. He's just a tough dude is all, who also happens to have a connection for really good Bolivian cocaine. And so that's the only reason I can think of him still being on the roster is this guy would not win on the LFA. He would not win on CFFC. He would not win on Cage Titans or Tough Enough. And yet here he is chopping it up a noche.
I think you could catch a dub on your Uriah Faber's A1 Combat, perhaps. Maybe Anthony Pettis FC. I've seen some pretty despicable performances and things that we have bet in those promotions. But
that Dumaroa, your guy there from
did he win on the weekend? Probably no, definitely not.
No,
did he get subbed in the first round?
Yeah, he's a Medina type where it's
he's
like
hilarious.
I showed up. It's like, well, yeah, all right, you showed
up 2 weeks ago and got subbed in the first round as well. Did he get subbed? I didn't even keep track of it because like there was no parlays and stuff.
I only made one bet, which was just the chick fight, but Dumaroa, yeah, they're so bad with sending in. Let me check his Sure Dog. Sure Dog's usually a lot better. I thought he got subbed in the first round, but just to confirm,
he probably got subbed in the first round. That's the Dumaroa. He'll be back in 2 weeks to do it again.
Yeah, Medina's got 5 career losses. He's been knocked out once last fight. He's been subbed once, and he's got 3 decisions. So if they want to hang some outrageous Dusko by sub or Dusko by knockout, and you can get a great price on that, I almost feel like I'd venture further that way. But Dumaroa, I don't know.
They're not really giving anything too remarkable on either. Plus 500 for the sub.
He actually got TKO'd in the first round.
You got TKO'd first round?
TKO'd first round.
He'll be back in 2 weeks.
Yeah, they'll only give him a 14-day suspension, and then he'll be back. It was Paul 100%. Said, 2 weeks.
All right, we got Joaquim Silva taking on Claudio Puelles. Puelles, a slight favorite, minus 120 to come back on Silva, plus 100. Where you at with this one? Before I even hand it off to you, it's like my initial thought here is like he is a little bit longer, a little bit older in the tooth, or longer in the tooth, a little bit older. But like Joaquim Silva seems like he's still kind of got it. in a lot of ways. He's been fighting pretty high level of competition. Drakkar Close, Arman Sarukian, and he's had moments in those fights against those guys. Puelles has always been a very one-dimensional guy for me. He's very, very much a grappler or bust. The stand-up game never really came along. He seems kind of old school in that sense. Maybe he's been making all of the improvements, but for me, it's Joaquim Silva. What about for you?
I got Claudio Puelles, which might be the first time ever. I do not like this guy. I quite literally fade him every single fight. He's the original Peruvian in the UFC. Well, Tony D'Souza, yeah, he actually invented the Peruvian necktie. But really, you'll know this is Claudio Silva, Claudio Puelles. His UFC run dates back to when he was on The Ultimate Fighter Latin America, which was now 9 years ago. And I've been watching this guy and hating him for 9 years. And all of a sudden, there's this surge of Peruvian fighters, and I love all of them, Paul. They're all so goddamn durable, and they all got such good cardio, and they got big natural power. And Claudio is actually like the polar opposite. Not that he doesn't have cardio or that he can't take a punch, but he's not a strike. Like, he's just diving at ankles and rolling for leg locks and kind of puzzling. I never liked him. But in this fight, I totally think it's going to work off, man. So basically, it's like, yeah, he had a little run there where he beats Jordan Levitt. Greasy-ass fight, but he took him down 4 times and controlled him. He beats Clay Guida. Greasy-ass fight. He just rolls for a knee bar in the first round. Then they give him Dan Hooker and Faraz Zayam. Really tough fights. The Zayam fight, well, okay, so he fights Dan Hooker, he gets mutilated. Then he takes all of 2023 off, only fought once in 2024, which is in February of 2024, and he took down Faraz Zayam 7 times and lost a split decision. He landed no punches. He had no submission attempts, landed 4 significant strikes, but the 7 takedowns. So then he has not fought since February. So he's only 29 years old. I think that unlike his compadres, the rest of the Peruvians, he was more of a grappler and they're more of strikers. I think he's got good durability. I think his cardio is good enough. And really, the guy can go out there and he can get takedowns. If he gets the takedowns, he's going to rack up control time. And I feel like that's the way to beat Joaquim Silva. You mentioned the Drakkar Close fight. He drops Drakkar Close. The Arman Sarukian fight, it's not a knockdown, but Arman is doing the chicken dance. Oh, my God. No doubt about it, this man can crack. But his fight with Clay Guida, if you watch that one back, Clay gets him down 2 times on 11 takedown attempts. When he's not taking him down, he's controlling him up against the cage. He gets 5 minutes of control time. It's a 29-28 across the board. And I honestly feel like he maybe been able to have won that fight, save for a couple positions here and there. Joaquim kept trying to grab for the neck, and he was fishing for a guillotine choke. And I don't know. I feel like a pure grappler that only wants to grapple is going to give him problems. Sarukian easily won the fight when he was wrestling. It's when he chose to throw a few punches, he got cracked. Drakkar Close, he feels that power, and then he's able to outlast him as the longer the fight goes. I feel like Puelles has been off long enough, almost 2 years, something like 18 months he's been off. I just feel like he's made enough improvements. His ability to shoot takedowns, his ability to wrap you up in positions, his ability to threaten for leg locks, his ability to take a punch. I almost feel like he's going to edge this thing out. So, yeah, I really don't like it because he's not my kind of guy. I just got a nagging feeling that this is a good style clash for him, and he's going to show you off some improvements. Of course, I fade him all the time. And when you fade him, he shows you moments. It's all, why did I do this again? Oh, no, that's right. He sucks. The 2 years off, I think, is going to do wonders for him. Got a suspicion he'll show up in a good shape. So expect some wrestling, expect some takedowns, expect some control time. Faraz Zayam is a legitimate prospect. You held him to a split decision almost 2 years ago. Improve. It's only 29. You got to get better. Flip side to that for Joaquim Silva, sorry. Joaquim's in his mid-30s. He's got big power, but does he got long cardio? Does he got long takedown defense? Does he got those other intangibles to keep this fight standing and really hurt him? Like, I'm not entirely sure on that. Physically, he's stronger. He's fought in better guys. He's got legitimate power. Take that off the table. I feel like he's prone to getting taken down in network. So Claudio Puelles, but I hate this pick.
We got Tatiana Suarez taking on Amanda Lemos, minus 425 for the Queen, plus 355 for Lemos. Where are you at?
I would imagine Tatiana Suarez just tosses her on her head over and over. And then the good thing here is that this is only a 3-round fight. So you don't got to worry about Tatiana Suarez having a gas potentially going into the 5th. And going to the 4th and 5th. And yeah, I mean, listen, everyone's kind of ragging on her for that performance against Zhang Weili. Well, first of all, Zhang Weili is the best ever at 115, and this girl can wrestle and this girl can strike, and she's got other intangibles to her. With Lemos, it's like she's a low output striker. She lands less than 3 significant strikes per minute. Her takedown defense is only 59%. She's in her mid 30s. She's getting tossed, man. Yasmin Lucindo took her down once, right? Verna only needed one takedown, and subbed her. Mackenzie Dern took her down. Zhang Weili took her down 6 times. Michelle Watterson took her down. Angela Hill took her down. There's no doubt in my mind that Tatiana Suarez is going to go out there and get those takedowns. Now, when you watch Tatiana, it's like, well, she's live or die by the takedowns. All of her wins. Good fighters, too. Viviana Pereira, Lexa Grasso, Carlos Esparza, Nina Nunez, Jessica Andrade. It's the takedowns. It's that fight with Zhang Weili. She won the first round. She took her down. Then it's like, oh, there's levels to this. You can't be just one-dimensional at the highest level to win a title. Tatiana is very one-dimensional. Just so happens that one dimension is going to match up really good against Amanda Lemos, and she's likely going to take her down, rack up control time for 2 of the 3 rounds, evade. If you're worried about, well, what if she wins the first 2 and she falls apart? Yeah, I suppose that's fair. Zhang Weili, she went 25 minutes with her, right? Running on fumes for 15 of the 25. And again, Lemos is low. She's low output. She's not landing a whole lot. When you look at her wins, it's, a decision over Lucindo, a decision over Mackenzie Dern. She knocked out Marina Rodriguez, sure, but she'd only landed 29 significant strikes through 11 minutes of action to that point. It's punchy kicky. Anybody's got a shot. Maybe she grabs a guillotine. Maybe she lands an up kick. Maybe she lands some bomb of a right hand. Potentially, sure. But I think she's getting taken down over and over and over, and it ain't going to go good. This is this week's Umar C. When we did the preview show last week, Paul, Umar C was a minus 400. It was like, this guy's going to roll him up. Well, come fight time, he's a minus 650. And then he rolls him up. He's got a real easy path to victory. And if he does anything different other than take it, well, maybe it gets greasy, but she's coming off a loss. He was coming off a loss. They're being given an opponent with a glaring hole in their game to exploit. Do you think they're looking to try new skills out? No, she's going to go get the takedown and make this look easy. So I understand she's a 4-1 favorite, but I fully agree with it. And I'm playing Tatiana Suarez this week.
The queen has returned. Good. I want to see my girl get back on track here. Nothing fancy. Don't do anything crazy. I mean, at the end of the day, even obviously a humbling performance. And hopefully Tatiana's not listening right now as we faded. I faded. Yeah, you can fade forever, whatever you want, but it's just like, I just didn't understand all of the steam I remember that was coming in that week on Suarez. It just didn't make sense to me. I was just like,
yeah, you jumped ship on that one, which was surprising because she's your girl, but you used to do this with Vince Pichel. You'd be like, I call all of his wins and I can call his losses. And so you need to jump ship on that one. So props.
Yeah. And it was just like, there's just kind of levels. And she learned those levels once she got out of the first round. But credit where credit's due. If you were worried about knockout or anything like that, it's just like, my God, a lot of heart. Taking the shots that she was taking, just still kind of marching forward, still trying, and getting to the final bell after 5 rounds. It's punchy, kicky, everything like that. But like, my biggest concern would be Lemos lands a nuke, and I mean, she just went in there and took shots from the best to ever do it, and was able to go 5 rounds. So I expect to get takedowns. I expect the queen to get back on track. We got Jesus Aguilar taking on Luis Gurule. Gurule minus 220 favorite to come back on Aguilar plus 185. Your thoughts?
So, like, Gurule really let me down his last time out against Ode Osborne. Now I got to pay 2-1 on him again? Like, come on. But yeah, no, I like Gurule. I like Gurule in the sense that he can seemingly wrestle, and he seemingly has good cardio, and he's got good output. And on the Contender Series against Nick Piccini, I understand it was just a split decision win, but he got taken down 10 times. His get-up game was solid. His counter-grappling is good. His volume's there. You're constantly having to work your way back up against a guy that's a multiple-time D1 All-American and a highly touted prospect, and Gurule just keeps working. At the end of the 15 minutes, like, this guy is fresh as a daisy. His fight with Ode Osborne, he won the first round, but he took 3 minutes before he shot the takedown. Standing, He's a little bit one-dimensional. Like, he's only just throwing, simple weaponry, doesn't got an educated jab on him, doesn't have big power in that right hand. It's 1-1-2s, basic footwork, that long ranginess, that elusiveness, the long distance management of Ode Osborne's giving him trouble, but he gets a takedown. He rides out 90 seconds of control time. He gets to a really nice, favorable position. Ode explodes and stands back up. And as soon as he stands back up, he looked deflated. Second round, he's deflated right from the get-go and gets whipped on. Was that UFC jitters? Was that being sick or having a bad weight cut or being underprepared? All possible, but he looked really bad in that UFC debut. He just looked like a one-round guy. The problem with Jesus Aguilar is that, he's got some Mexican durability. He's got a nasty guillotine choke on him. He's got some legitimate power when he lands, and he's just, if anything else, he's not good, but he's going to make you work. Gurule on the Contender Series against Nick Piccini, this guy's down to go a hard 15 minutes. What I saw against Ode Osborne, it's like his chin's not great. He doesn't have a plan B. If he doesn't have his own way, he kind of runs out of ideas. He looks like a deer in headlight in these striking exchanges. You just don't love it. With Jesus Aguilar, it's like, keep in mind, when he fought Tatsuya Taira, he landed an okay right hand, and then, he gets triangle armbar. His fight with Matus Madonka, terrible. His fight with Stuart Nickel, he got the guillotine choke. His fight with Estevam, his last time out, he got taken 11 times. He's just fishing for guillotines and flopping on his back. There's nothing great about him, but he's pretty durable. He's pretty wily, and he's going to make you work. So I have Gurule, but just, how, and we discuss this all the time, it's like, what do you line the fight up with compared to what it's lined up? I got Gurule like minus 140. I think he's a better athlete. I think he's got a wrestling advantage. I think he'll be able to pull his head out of these guillotine chokes and therefore get easier takedowns, and then eventually just ride up some control time and get some ground and pound and win the fight. But he's going to need a big-time, better sophomore outing, show up with some better gas in the tank, and really pull this thing off, because it's a Noche card. You're taking on a legitimate Mexican. You're fighting a guy that's got good gas tank and got decent durability, and knocking him out probably ain't going to happen. And, it's going to be a real scrap. But I don't love guys that pull on these guillotines. I understand Poirier likes it, and he's a star. I understand Chris Duncan has done it successfully. You need to dig an underhook and defend a takedown. And if you're not going to do that, you're going to get taken down. Standing, he doesn't have big enough power. He doesn't have big enough volume. So Gurule should be able to just matador him long enough to hit takedowns with about 2 minutes left in the rounds and rack up some control time. But it'll be closer than 2-1 says. And I don't trust this guy. He lost my trust after that debut. I'm going to pick him again and give him an opportunity to win it back. But I can't put him at anything significant, and I can't put real trust into him. I'd love to say that this thing hits some overs, but that guillotine choke's live for Jesus Aguilar against anybody. So maybe he tugs on that thing and makes it happen. I just got to go with the takedown defense issues and Gurule having shored up the cardio and getting the win. 2-1 I don't like, but he's the rightful favorite to me. I got Gurule probably by decision.
I faded Gurule against Ode Osborne.
Yeah, good call, man. It was bad
And
times.
I bet Ode, I believe, inside the distance as well.
Oh, good call. Really
good. I don't know. I just didn't really like that Piccinini guy that he beat on Contender Series. It's like we just saw Piccinini go the distance on
Fury.
Was that Fury for like the title against like a very, very mediocre opponent, like a very, very low level opponent. So that fight's a bit of a red flag. Getting taken down 10 times in that fight. And then you see Piccinini follow it up on a low level regional fight where like he's like a minus 2,000 favorite. He's supposed to absolutely just walk all over this guy.
Split.
And
right.
And it was like real. So like everything's kind of pointing towards that. The thing I hate. So here's where I'm at with this fight. I'm gonna wait for like the books to open up. Hopefully they're a little bit generous, and I'll probably play Jesus Aguilar by sub. Because at least with Jesus Aguilar, the volume's way too low for him to probably win the decision fight if it turns into a striking affair. This idiot's gonna fall back. This idiot's gonna fall back and look for submissions. Even if he gets a knockdown, what's his first thought gonna be? I better jump on top of this guy and try to choke him. Like he'll get on top, try to set up a guillotine. Of course, the Shannon Ross KO win. That was the only KO win.
Oh my god, you called that one too. God damn it.
I did.
He's never stiffed anybody, and Paul's like, yeah, well, not until he fights Shannon Ross, and then 18 seconds or something.
We'll see where the books open up. I don't see any props for that fight yet, but it'll be Aguilar by sub will be the will be the play that because at least what I like to know about it is that like Jesus is gonna try. He's gonna try to set up the first time Gurule if Gurule shoots on him whatsoever. He's gonna be trying to wrap up that guillotine. That doesn't mean that it's actually gonna work, but
he's got a good guillotine. If you
got
give it to him, he's gonna choke you unconscious. So
he's going to try.
Yeah, Paul, you're right. Maybe I'll have another look at this one, but you're really not right. He went to the 4th round with Jacob Silva just a couple fights back, an 11-10 regional show guy. And beyond all the points, you could have said no other points than this. You could have said, Cody, it's -200 and it's a flyweight fight. And I would have said, you're right, man. There's really no value there on Gurule at all.
One guy's Mexican.
In Mexico, well, in San Antonio.
In San Antonio, where they got the mariachi band, everything.
They got a mariachi
Who's
band.
the A side? Who's the crowd cheering for? It's Jesus Aguilar.
Brother, you're not wrong.
Aguilar by sub, but we'll see what the price is. I mean, if he's a +2, he's a +180 underdog. Like we need well into the 3-to-1s to even consider. Well into it, like 350, 400. I don't know if they're going to be generous enough with us. It could end up being kind of a pass, but we'll see. And then like some people have those books that are like, exact submission. I don't have many of those books available to me. I think I have one that may have it on like fight day, but yeah, the Aguilar by guillotine is just like you just set it and forget it. It's the Ronco food dehydrator of MMA betting. You just bet it and forget it.
Yeah.
And historically, it just kind of works out because that's really all he's trying to set up when he's doing it. All right, we got Zach Reese taking on Dumbass, -220 for Reese to come back on Dumbass, +185. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Reese has kind of proven that he shouldn't be -220 over anybody. Like, he just doesn't got those intangibles. He is 6'4". He's got a 77-inch reach. He can switch stances. He's got a long left body kick. He's got a good submission game. He's a big, husky guy. But, like, he just doesn't seem to be making these big improvements fight to fight. Again, you look at he goes the distance with José Medina. Okay, but he was on top of him the whole time. He's a BJJ black belt. He's got a nasty submission game, and yet he didn't really get much done with it. His fight with Osmat Bakoev, he got absolutely stiffed. Got taken down. A couple ground and pound punches put him out. His fight with Cody Brunridge, he holds on to a triangle choke too long. He gets power bombed on his head. His last time out against Dusko Todorovic, everybody that beats Dusko beats him the same way. Punch him in the face and he goes down. Yeah, dude, Zach Reese has got not big power. He got taken down 4 times versus Dusko. He gassed in the fight. It wasn't pretty at all. He's not making improvements fight to fight, and that's problematic because he used to be 6-0 or something, or 6-1, and I'd say, well, he's just green, man. Wait until this guy gets a dozen fights, sorry. Now he's starting to get into that, I got experience. I've been fighting at the highest level. Not the highest level, but I've been fighting for a premier organization against decent guys. I'm not seeing those improvements from fight to fight. Dumas, meanwhile, it's like, obviously, no one's going to bet Dumas. The guy's been arrested 6 times in the last 3 years. You mentioned Kelvin Gastelum doesn't take it seriously. Yeah, well, because he's in and out at quick In-N-Out burger after the training. Dumas is not even showing up to training at all, right? He's hiding in a dog crate because the police are looking for him or an active warrant. His last fight, he bailed out of it because he had an ankle monitor on. Like, I just don't know in good faith that you could say this guy's prepared to go out there and win. Now, his technical kickboxing is not like atrocious. It's not great. It's not atrocious. He could, in theory, beat Zach Reese in a stand-up battle. Zach Reese doesn't take him down and maybe gets tired. Maybe Dumas works his way back into it somehow. But given all of his recent struggles, given I don't think he's got great durability, given I don't think he's got a great grappling game, I feel like Zach Reese finds the money and ends up putting him away at some point or winning 2 of the 3 rounds. I don't like this price. It feels trappy to me. And this is going to sound like a straight up cop-out. This is my truthful opinion. Clint McLean, that's my guy. I know people say negative things about him. This is my guy. He's a salt-of-the-earth guy. He's got my phone number. I got his phone number. We shoot the shit. I really like him. I plan on going to Arizona. We're going to kick it. Everybody makes good reads. Everybody makes bad reads. Clint's a good dude. He's got this real crazy power that whenever he puts 2 or more units on Sedriques Dumas fights these. Like he bet Dumas against Mike Yeo. He bet Dumas against Nursultan Ruzoboev. He's betting him against Zach Reese as well. I don't know what he sees in Dumas. Dumas is not good. Dumas, I'm shocked that he's not been released from the promotion already, given that he's had lengthy history with domestic abuse and drug charges, and he's got a losing record with the promotion. And when he does win, it's bottom of the barrel guys. Why keep him around? I don't know. But maybe it's to give guys like Zach Reese a bump in the arm and a win. And I do feel like Zach Reese is just better all around. So barring that this thing just stays a straight kickboxing match, well, then maybe Cedric Dumas can outpoint him in a striking match. But keep in mind, Dumas landed his last fight. He landed 3 significant strikes. He went the distance with Dennis Tulin, something nobody does. He also got taken down 3 times by Dennis Tulin, something that never happens to anybody else. He went the distance with Abu Azetar, only landed 34 significant strikes, got outstruck. He went the distance with Cody Brunridge, he landed 17 significant strikes. Holy shit, dude. He averages 2 strikes landed per minute. So how does he win? He doesn't land any strikes. He really can't grapple. His durability is not exactly world class. Why would you bet this guy? I can't tell you. Automatic fade for me. Got to go with Zachary's.
So to get this, just so we're on the same page, you're betting Zach Reese to fade Clint.
Well, only because it's a Cedric Dumas play. Because I know people will say all the time, fade Cody, fade Clint, fade Daniel Levy, fade Lucrative James. They just like to say that. It's just
Fade
what
Paul.
gets said. Yeah. I'm sure you've heard it too. And if you have a right pick, they'll say Paul's the GOAT, or Cody's the GOAT, or Daniel Levy's the GOAT. It's the same thing, right? If you got the pick right, you're the man. If you got the pick right, you're a total bum. I mean, Clint last week, I think we were on all the exact plays except for Axel Sola. He went with Riz McKee. No big deal. It's just, you get a lot of the same reads. When I see him do this Dumas thing where he'll be like 2.5 units on Cedric Dumas, and then it started off with, while it was the Ruzaboa fight. Well, he got poked in the eye, man. Sure, he looked like shit, but it's the eye poke. So you bet him again. Mikey O stops him in the first round, right? Yeah, sure, he got dogged by Lord Michael, but I mean, it was an early stoppage. Now you're going to bet him against Zach Reese. It's like, dog, he's just got out of jail. He's currently facing these charges. He's hiding out. He's doing drugs. He's not good to begin with. And even when he is in shape,
not trustworthy,
and he isn't sober,
it's not like he's like 5-1 underdog or anything like that. Like, it's a moderate UFC price. Here's a fun little fact. Dennis Chilulan only took down 1 person in his UFC run. He did it 3 times against Cedric Dumas. He wasn't a wrestler. He's one of those Russians that doesn't really wrestle whatsoever. Now, Cedric got 3 of his own. Don't get me wrong, but like, the wrestling's not great for him. His volume's not great. Zach Reese, probably a better submission grappler. I don't get it. I will not be betting Cedric Dumas. I don't feel great about backing Zach Reese, but got to nut up at some point, and I suppose Reese will find his way into some parlays for me this week at the very least. We got Alessandro Costa taking on Alden Correa. Costa is the biggest favorite on the card at -500. Come back on Correa plus 385. If you shop around, there's a little bit less than the -500, but that's where the market's heading, Cody. I mean, Costa's a little tank, but it is a flyweight fight. Are you a little worried about the flyweight fight? Because like Costa, for pretty much all of his career here, he's been doing better against a higher level of competition. I think he was thrown into the fire, and he's given a half decent. Like that was like short notice against Amir Albazi. He actually absolutely kicked Jimmy Flick's leg right off. He's in there against Urseg, doing okay. Win over Boreas. Like the kid's obviously pretty damn good. Korea, on the other hand, we break down Fury like quite a bit over on the Discord. And I love Fury. I like it, especially when Fury's on Sundays, but the level of competition over in that promotion is like pretty low. Like we watch it because it's on Sunday, and I didn't even watch it because this week it went up against NFL. So do you think Korea's stepping up into a wood chipper here or what?
No, I actually don't. One, as you mentioned, it's a flyweight fight, so it's going to be competitive. The other thing is this Alden Korea he's actually pretty good, man. Like I've been watching this guy for a while, and yeah, he's lost some fights, but he's very, very scrappy. He's got good speed, he's got good power, he's got good striking, all around guy. He's got a win over Chris Ocon, second round TKO. That's a quality win. Then he fights for the Fury title against Paris Moran. Paris Moran had won 3 straight. They were telling Paris Moran, win this title and we'll bring you into the contender series of the UFC. He stiffed him, bro. He stiffed him in the first round with a beautiful left hand. And then I think he ended up being on marijuana, so they ruled it a no contest. Then he says, I'll fight Nick Pincinini, right? And then Pincinini pulls out, which is why he fought this German Ponce guy. This guy's ready to go, man. He's 27 years old. He is good striker, good scrambles. Between Chris Ocon, Paris Moran was trying to fight Pincinini. Has fought Albert Trujillo. I just feel like it's going to be one of those. I can't say he's a Steve Erceg type because of his style. I just mean he's a Steve Erceg type in that it doesn't look like he has any notable experience, and he'll be just fine. He will be just fine at the UFC level. Alessandro Costa, I like this guy. And as you mentioned, it's like they've not done him particularly the easiest favor of taking easy fights. He made his UFC debut against Amir Albazi. In that Albazi fight, he only gave up 1 takedown on 4 shots. He did pretty good. And then he beats so he loses to Steve Erceg, but he puts up a decent fight with him too. My thing is that he's kind of, I won't say low volume. He's capable of putting up big numbers, but at times he's so muscular, he's a little flat-footed. One of these speed flyweights that's constantly moving and constantly making him work is going to give him troubles, I think. I don't know why I got a bad gut feeling about it. I just feel like the line is a little bit wide. Correa will come in. He'll give a good account of himself. Whether he wins or not is not necessarily the end-all be-all. It's kind of like Beloji Oki, versus Michael Aswell. Remember that fight? Aswell's on short notice. He's a 6-1 underdog. He gives him everything he can handle. Random guy from the Fury FC card, but he's ready. He's fought some decent guys. He's a high-volume guy taking on a lower-volume guy. Albazi knocked down Costa twice, right? So I'm not saying he's chinny, but he was low volume in that fight. He landed 17 significant strikes through 3 minutes. Through almost 3 rounds, but 12 minutes. Against Jimmy Flick, Jimmy Flick can't really do anything. Against Steve Erceg, again, he can't really get the takedowns. Erceg almost had a sub attempt on Costa. Erceg got a higher volume. If Correa is able to just put up higher volume, constantly move his feet, not give up takedowns, Costa's slower than him, okay? Costa has a 12% takedown accuracy. So what are you going to do? You're going to stand and bang? Well, what if he outworks you if you're just standing the whole time? Without the threat of the takedown, I got a power guy versus a speed guy. And trust me, at flyweight, it's actually a difficult situation. So I know I sound like a bitch ass, but I'm gonna take Costa again. But Paul says biggest favorite on the card. I know. Just I can't put the biggest favorite on the card on my top line. Costa can't be at the top because I know Korea. I know he's a solid fighter. I know he brings tons to the table. It's just that's a really tough UFC debut. He's short notice too, right? Costa was supposed to fight Edgar Suarez, which makes sense. It's the Noche card, and Suarez is a tough Mexican fighter, and now Suarez pulls out. They're in Texas. Alden Correa is from Texas. Is it the best fight for you? No. Will you give a better account of yourself than the line shows? Sure. And so did that Eric Nolan guy that fought Sir Sakayev. He actually gave a good account of himself, and then he got finished in the second round. You're better than the line suggests, but it doesn't change the fact that this is just a really tough, short notice UFC debut, and therefore I got Costa winning it. But I don't love the line, Paul, especially for 125ers.
I thought you were going to take a shot on a plus 385 underdog, but interesting notes from you on that fight. We'll see where the market goes. I got to look a little bit deeper into this Korea guy. To be perfectly honest,
honestly, man, you're gonna watch him and you'll be like, oh yeah, this guy looks UFC ready.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm actually gonna bet. I'm gonna end up betting Korea. Yeah, I gotta watch tape on that one. I did watch tape on this next fight because I was like, who is Alice Pereira? At first, I looked at it,
Elise,
and I was like, is this Alex Pereira's sister or something?
Correct.
And no, that's not the case. That's Aline Pereira.
Yeah, the karate
is Alex Pereira's
LFA girl.
Alice is 19 years old. Most of her fights are in a shopping mall. in Brazil, man. This Samara Santos fight, not the worst win. She wins that fight by decision. I did see her get held up against the cage, not against the most physically imposing fighter you'll ever really see in Samara Santos. Like, to put it in perspective, Santos was like a 10-1, 12-1 underdog against the LFA champion Eileen Bertoso and got finished in the third round. So like, she at least got to the third round against the LFA champion, I suppose. But I saw like one of these fights here. This Hosanna any fight, Cody. Oh my! I dropped it in the Discord with the crew earlier. This is like new age soccer. You know, the soccer mom.
Yeah.
It's new age. This fight was done in 11 seconds. You have someone standing there, just like, I'm gonna get my $100 after this, right? Or my whatever, 350,000 Brazilian reals or whatever the hell they're called. Like it was just like makes you feel sick inside just watching. It's just like she didn't actually she didn't throw a strike. She just literally backed up, took a couple shots, it was slammed to the ground, and it was over in 11 seconds. Montserrat Rendon is 36 years old. The performances haven't been awe-inspiring. She likes to do a lot of standing cage control, and I think what I saw in the fight with Samara Santos is that like this young 19-year-old girl who could be really good in like 3 or 4 years. Maybe she turns into something. Maybe the UFC knows what they're doing here, but it's also Noche UFC, and we have a Mexican fighter, and a Mexican fighter who's like been fighting some of the lower opponents in the division and just kind of scraping by. So maybe they had to find somebody else, not on the roster to try to get Montserrat Rendon a W. I 19 years old, there's a little bit of question marks of like, are they trying to build a prospect? How did this girl get into the UFC? She wore a shirt like for like Mick Maynard after her most recent win, and I think Mick Maynard saw it. Yeah. It's all on her Instagram and stuff. Either way, I took Rendon at plus 145 earlier this morning. It's moving a little bit, but I expected to probably flip into Rendon being the favorite. Where are you at?
Yeah, on the same boat. I got Rendon. I get she's 36. She hasn't fought in a year and a half. It's not great, but this is someone that's she's very one-dimensional. She's just BJJ black belt. As Paul mentioned, she'll try to get the takedown, and she gets it great. She doesn't. She'll mostly just try to hold you up against the cage, but I don't really think at 36, there's not a whole lot of girls in the division that she can go out there and win against or, cleanly win. And now you're coming to UFC Noche. We want to put some girls on the card, and we got who are the girls that are on the roster that are Mexican? Montserrat Rendon. Okay, well, we need to give her the appropriate fight. And you got Elise Pereira coming in to do the thing. Yeah, she's 5-0. She's 19 years old. I just don't see why you would rush someone like that. Why not have them fight on Contender Series? Why not have them fight for LFA Brazil? Mm-hmm. Why not have them work their way up? Instead, it's just like, yeah, we need a girl, and you're the girl. So, I don't know. When you watch tape on her, as Paul's saying, it's pretty low-level promotions, pretty low-level opponents. She could be good, but like a lot of other people, it's like you're 19 years old. You're very young still. You've got lots to develop, and your physical maturity is not there, and your ring IQ is not there, and you get anxiety because you're overthinking it. Because again, you're just a young fighter. So, with Rendon, I feel like Rendon probably does get those takedowns. You watch it in her fight with Daria Zelenikova. She is able to get 3 takedowns. She just can't really get much ground and pound off or much damage. And eventually Zarakova gets up and starts putting it back on her. Against Tamires Vidal, much of the same. She gets 3 takedowns. She gets control time. The damage is being landed by her opponent. So if you've got judges in San Antonio, they're looking for damage and they're looking for who's looking to fight. Maybe it's going to be Elise Pereira, but I feel like she probably gets taken down from Rendon, who puts herself in favorable positions, probably gets some type of pop from the crowd. And just kind of gives her a vet lesson of sorts. Last thing I'll say is that Daria Zelenikova, when she lost to her, it's like, yeah, and this girl's really not that good. But that girl really not all that bad. She's coming off a decent win over Melissa Mullins, where she basically just cooked her up. It was a rematch. First time she fought Mullins, she got taken down and subbed. Second time, it's like you can see the improvements there. So for Rendon, I would like to say, that's not the worst loss in the world to Daria. You were able to get 3 takedowns on her. You got to just go out there and do much of the same. Get these takedowns, get to grinding. If you can't cleanly take her down, you're going to have to hold her up against the cage, short knees, short elbows, short clinch type strikes. and then just kind of wear on her. But it's women's MMA. You could see this thing going either way. You got Rendon 17 years older than her opponent. How could this thing go wrong? Many ways it could go wrong, Paul. But I got to go with a little more proven. And it kills me to say that, because you can watch back Rendon fought Brittany Cloudy in Invicta a couple of years back. It's like much of the same. She don't do shit, and her opponent's landing punches. So it's a split decision against a 4-4 Brittany Cloudy on the basis of one girl's landing punches and one girl's not. The judges here will do the same thing. Elise Pereira is probably going to land more strikes, and Montserrat Rendon's probably going to get 5-6 minutes of control time and 3 takedowns. So just depends what they're looking at. Yeah, I mean, there's not enough to say CF dot model, right? What's the current? Yeah, it's CF dot model to me. Rendon's a slight underdog. I get Taker.
All right. And finally, we've got Rodrigo Cezinado taking on Danil Donchenko. It's the Ultimate Fighter finale. The finals for that got rebooked to this card for whatever reason. Donchenko's minus 225 favorite to come back on Cezinado, plus 190. Who you got?
I got Rodrigo Cezinado. I like this guy. He's a Brazilian, sure, but he actually lives in Vancouver. Watched a number of his fights. Obviously, he's a BFL champion. He's the Samurai champion. He's only 27 years old. He's a BJJ black belt, and he can absolutely crack. Starting to rack up some serious MMA experience. His only losses to Wilker Lemos, and that was 3 years ago, and Wilker got a lot of experience. So I think he's doing all the right things. Since he's come to Canada, he fought Said Mirzai, right? Oh, I just want to point out this too. His first couple fights, he fought this Matus Felipe at 185. As he fought Henan Martins at 181. His one loss to Wilker Lemos is at a catch weight of 176. So he's fought as high as 185 pounds a couple of times. His run in Canada, he'd fight at 170, 165, 165, and then his last time out against Jordan Ramsey over in Samurai MMA is at a catch weight of 175. He's not the biggest guy by welterweight standards, but he's got a lot of strength, excellent technique. Cardio seems to be good, fights well inside the pocket. Now you put this guy on the Ultimate Fighter, you're maybe not going to see the best of him, just because you don't have your regular coaches. You're fighting multiple times. You're needing to cut weight a couple times. He's been fighting at 175. Now he's got to make 170, and you got to fight in February, and then you fight again in March, and then, it's lost. So I don't think he looked necessarily great on the Ultimate Fighter, but I know where this guy's skills lies, and I think he's pretty good. Danil Donchenko, it's a couple problems. Problem number one is that he's been spending his entire career at 155. Like, when you look at his wins, he's the NYSA lightweight champion.
Mm-hmm.
And he jumps to the Ultimate Fighter. He's now moving up a weight class. Okay. Once the Ultimate Fighter ends, you see this all the time, the champ usually moves back down. So I think naturally Salazado is already the bigger guy in the real welterweight. He's going to have some size advantage. The other thing is that this guy looked good on the Ultimate Fighter, but that doesn't mean shit. And what I say by that is I'm not using this as a cop-out, but you'll see where I'm going with it. When we watch, what was the other finals of the Ultimate Fighter? It was that Alibi Idris versus Joseph Morales. This guy was the NYSA champion. He was undefeated in Kazakhstan. He looked really good on the Ultimate Fighter. When he came and made his UFC debut, he was shit. That guy's awful. I'm getting the same vibes out of Danil Donchenko. First of all, he's a lightweight. Second of all, yeah, he's the NYSA champion. What does that even really mean? On the Ultimate Fighter, a nice little win over Matt Dixon, but you're fighting in the tough house. It's not the end-all be-all. It doesn't mean everything. He seems to have a little more size over Cezinaldo, and maybe he's a better striker, but Cezinaldo's got much better grappling. I think at some point there's going to be a transition. He's going to be able to get him to the ground. If he's forced to stay standing, Cezinaldo's got a good chin, and he's got some nasty power in his left hook. A lot of the time with these Ukrainian guys, the longer the fight prolongs, they'll tire out. They fight foot on the gas pedal, man. They're exerting a lot of energy. They're very tenacious, and unlike the Russians, they don't really know how to win spots up against the cage or get quick takedowns and buy a minute or two to recover. They're throwing a lot of volume, constant coming forward, constant pressure. This kid's good. I just don't think he should be a 2-1 or 3-1 favorite over a guy like Reginaldo Sultanalo. So, Cezinado, I got him to spring the upset. I realize I waited for the very last two fights to pull my two underdogs, but I think those are the two best underdogs on the card, Rodrigo Cezinado and Montserrat Rendon. There may be some more that come through. I just got to hope that the underdogs that do cash are against favorites that I've got lower on my list. We just got to go with that core four, who are the four most likely to win, who are the 4 that you can feel good with. And that's where the profit is. If we can hit 6, if we can hit 8, if we can hit 10, oh yeah, that's what we're aiming for. Sometimes you got to play it safe as well. So we just got to figure out those top 3, top 4 that we like the most, lock them in, and then hope that the other pieces just fall into place.
Cody's picking a dog. Don't threaten me with a good time. And it's a Brazilian who's spent time in the Battlefield Fight League. So,
you know who else is a Brazilian living in Canada?
Bradley De Silva.
Vancouver.
Dana hates his guts.
Yeah, I know. And Bibiano Fernandez, one of the best bantamweights of all time, just never got to show it because Dana White also hates his guts. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly think that this is a good winnable fight. Should be close, line closer to even. And the fact that you can get a plus 175 on Rodrigo Cezinal. Again, he's only 27 years old. He's got good experience. He's beaten all the best guys in Canada. And, he comes from solid Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. I think people will be impressed with him. Whether he wins, who knows? But at 2-1 as an underdog, definitely worth a shot.
All right, Code, we're just about out of time. But before we go, in with the PRP.
I'm going with Gene Silva. John, whatever you want to call him. John Silva getting the win. Rob Font, Jared Gordon, Kelvin Gastelum, Diego Ferreira, Quang Lee. I could see myself bouncing on that one. I'm going to go Dusko Todorovic. I'm going to go Claudio Puelles, Tatiana Suarez. I got Louis Gurule, but that one could maybe switch as well. Wait for the prop and weigh-in show, I suppose. Anyway, Zach Reese, Alessandro Costa. I know I'm a coward. And then Montserrat Rendon and Rodrigo Cezinado. So yeah, officially 2 underdog. There's a couple even money picks here and there, but with 14 fights and all the other regional shows going on this week, you can hit a 10 fight, 15 fight parlay banger, and only use 2 or 3 guys from the UFC card. So just zone in on which ones you like the most, and of course, I'd love to see weigh-ins to see who's sweating it out and who looks good.
Yeah, Hundo P. All right, that's it for us this week. Hope you enjoyed the show. For Cody, I'm Paul saying goodbye and good luck.